He's always eating because he has an insanely fast metabolism. They nailed that really well. And then he's always cracking jokes and he's very humorous. And they also nailed that really well. And Ezra Miller did a really good job. So I'm going to start off with the things I liked about this movie before I sort of start to tear into it a little bit because I have some issues with it. So I thought that he did a good job. It legitimately made me laugh. So that was cool. Like, a lot of it was really funny. A lot of it legitimately made me laugh. And there were moments that I was actually like having some hearty belly laughs. We got a few cameos from the Justice League, not a lot. We had Ben Affleck as Batman. So, which, by the way, I didn't dislike Ben Affleck as Batman. The reason that those movies were bad was not his fault. That was not his fault at all. I think he actually does just fine as Batman. The only other cameo we got was Wonder Woman. I'm trying to think if there's another one that I'm missing, but I don't think that there is. The only other cameo we got was Wonder Woman. It was very short, but it was a funny moment. What was that, Nick? Music. Oh God, yeah. Okay, so this is one of my biggest beefs with the Snyder Cut. I know people, and look, it was a better movie than what was originally released. It was. It still pissed me off. There were still a lot of it I didn't like, and one of the big things that I didn't like in that movie was how horrendously god awful the music was. They did play her music when she came in, but thankfully it wasn't as loud. They scaled back on that a lot. I think that they heard it was still unnecessary, but they were going to do it whatever. I think they heard the criticisms maybe, and they were like, all right, we're not going to play it so loud, so long, and it's not going to be as obnoxious. So that's happening. She comes in. We have the music. So that's basically her very short cameo. Now, getting into, even Backhand saw the Wonder Woman cameo. The Snyder Cut was a shit film for 4 hours. Daniel, thank you. It was better than what they released. I just hated it. Also, hi Deadpool. What's up? Welcome to the stream. I canceled Sexy Sisters because it was going to be so late when I got back from the movie. Obviously, I'm reviewing it now when it's like 9:15. And yeah, Jenna doesn't like driving at night. So Snack Stream Sunday is going to be the next fun hangout stream. So I figured I'd just do a fun little movie review. I'll do it live. I can interact with you guys a little bit. And then I got to go shoot some other stuff because this is going to be a busy week coming up for me. But yeah. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. We saw the return of Michael Shannon as Zod. And that was good because he's always great, but you don't really see that much of him. Sasha Callie, I don't know how to say her name, plays Supergirl. Here, she was fine. I didn't dislike her or anything. This is another one of those things, though, that a lot of movies are starting to do. This is essentially the Flashpoint storyline, but obviously with some changes from the Flashpoint that I remember. They're doing this thing in a lot of movies. Thank you, Deadpool. They're doing this thing in a lot of movies that, well, DC's doing it, Marvel is doing it, the whole multiverse thing, which I think can be fun, but people have criticized it for being lazy, and laziness for writers, lack of creativity. I think that it can be a good vessel to tell some cool stories. Hi, Gillis. To tell some really cool stories, but I also think that it can be a bit of a crutch and it can get a little bit lazy. Now, in this instance, it sort of makes sense, though, because Flash went back in time to try to save his mom, and also, subsequently his father as well, because his father is in jail and this is all storylines that if you've read any of the comics or if you watched the show on the CW, which I really liked for about 4 seasons before it started to for me. But if you watch any of that, these are all very familiar storylines. For the father, we got Ron Livingston, which is great. I do love seeing Ron Livingston just in anything, and he's always enjoyable. The mom was sweet, the parents, so that part was great. It was good acting. So the dad was in jail because they thought he was the one that killed Barry Allen's mom. He wasn't. Barry Allen's trying to get him off. I mean, everybody, it's the story of the Flash. This is a very, for anyone who's familiar with the superhero or any of that backstory, you already know all of this. She was so stiff every time she threw a punch. What are you talking about? Sasha Callie, the Supergirl girl? Oh, Daniel, I heavily disliked everything about this Supergirl, and I haven't even seen it. She was okay. I thought she was fine. she's not in the movie that much, which is good because it's not really supposed to be. I'm like almost flashing you guys during my Flash review. It's not really supposed to be about her. It's supposed to be about the Flash. Barry Allen worked very well with Barry Allen. Kiersey Clemens, I don't know if I'm saying this right. I am not familiar with this actress. I don't know who she is at all. This casting of Iris West bothered me so much. First of all, what are they casting a grandma to play Iris West? Like, I don't understand this casting choice in the slightest. If you guys have seen the CW show, I actually really like and I'm forgetting the actress's name, but what is it? Candace something? Yeah. She's phenomenal. I thought she was actually really good as a Flash. She's enjoyable. She's beautiful. She's charismatic. I understand why Barry Allen falls in love with her and they have this whole epic love story. I hate so much the casting choice. Like, it was so terrible. She's not a good actress. Okay, Supergirl. Reese is mad about Supergirl. Fair enough. Darth Mode's in the chat. The Flash sucked. What was I saying? Back to this girl. She's terrible acting. Candace Patton. Thank you. I loved her. I really loved Candace Patton. I don't know who this other girl is. I've never seen her before. I don't know. But it would be fine if she had some sort of charisma, some sort of decent acting. But I see, okay, she was in Dope. I've never seen that. Someone I used to know, The Flash, Sweetheart. Yeah, so a bunch of stuff that I've never seen or heard of. This girl, and I feel terrible trashing people. I don't like to do it. I especially don't like to do it online because I understand putting yourself out there. I myself have been trashed. It happens. I get it. But I'm reviewing this movie and I'm being critical of it, and I just hated this casting choice. I thought she was awful. I thought the acting was bad. There was no charisma. There was zero, and I mean zero. God damn it, Greg. What's the word I'm looking for? Like sparks between the two of them. What is that called? What's the word I'm looking? Candace is gorgeous.
There's a big difference in the photo.
There's a big difference between the girls. Like it's just so upsetting. So yeah, there was no. God, this is gonna drive me crazy. What is the word that I'm looking for? Chemistry. Thank you. There was zero chemistry between Ezra Miller, Barry Allen, and Iris West. It was awful. It almost felt like he was supposed to like her and have this big crush on her. It almost felt like she could have been a sack of potatoes sitting in his apartment. I was like, this is fucking awful. Thank you, Greg. The TV show did it way better. The TV show did so much better. Okay, and then now on to the story, right? The storyline is the typical Flash storyline. This is basically Flashpoint, but nothing really happens. It's very much just a Barry versus Barry type of situation.
It's just Barry helping Barry.
Yeah, Barry helping Barry. True. Nick says it's not really versus, it's Barry helping Barry, but then spoiler alert, Nick says I wouldn't even spoil it. It's not good. It's not even worth spoiling. The only thing that I really liked was the interactions between the two Barrys in this entire movie. There was no... Thanks, Deadpool. There was no story here. It was, okay, he went back and he tried to save his mom. He created chaos. He created a whole other timeline, but it wasn't a timeline that branched off. It was a timeline that intersected here. And there was a fixed point, and then so time after and time before got changed. It was a completely different timeline. Michael Keaton Batman explains it with spaghetti. It all makes sense when you're watching it in your brain and you get out and you're like, all right, I guess, kinda. It was so anticlimactic. And then you just find out that in that world, that entire world just has to be destroyed no matter how much they try to save it. And that Supergirl dies, and Zod destroys the world, and Michael Keaton Batman dies. It's just the weirdest thing. It's just... It was... The story itself was kind of meh. Now, on to the thing that really was, like, glaringly awful about this movie was the CGI. The CGI was, look at this CGI. There's Ben Affleck, Batfleck. Oh my God, it's truly awful.
There's good and bad.
There's good, I know, and it's the weird thing, as Nick says, there is good and bad. Some of the CGI actually looked fine. It looked okay. And then some of it was just, there were parts like this where it's Ben Affleck's face, Batman's face. And it just looks like worse than a video game. Like I've played better video games with better facial animation. It was awful. And then there were parts where, so it's Barry Allen and Barry Allen. So obviously it's Ezra Miller acting with himself essentially. And this is something we've seen done 1,000 times in movies and TV. And you've seen it done well. And sometimes it looks just fine. Like this scene looks fine. And then there are some times where it looks so unbelievably horrendous, where you see Ezra Miller in the mask and it just looks so bad. It looks so bad. And I really think that they cheaped out. They kind of went the route with CGI that they did with the Hellboy remake that I really wanted to like. I really wanted to like that movie. The CGI was a hot mess. And as you're watching it, some of the CGI was done in the US. Some of it was done in Russia. Some of it was done in India. And it was kind of a similar case here. Oh my God, Backhand. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. And me T, we'll talk about that as well. The Ezra Miller thing. Ezra Miller is a disaster. He is a hot mess. And for some reason, everybody just kind of let that go. And look, to be honest with you, it seems like he's going through some serious mental health stuff. I personally don't believe in cancel culture anyway, unless someone does like, say Bill Cosby. There you go. Or what's that movie director?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein. Fair enough. Cancel those guys. They're truly awful people. There are some people who deserve to be canceled and have their lives deserve to be ruined. Kevin Spacey is another example. Great. Cancel culture in general, though, I'm not really for. I think it's stupid, especially when someone says something that just annoys you. But he was going around punching people in the face. It seems like he's really struggling with some sort of mental health thing. And I do legitimately hope he gets the help that he needs, clearly, because he's not doing well. But yeah, it's wild to me that they completely let that go. Yes, Svetlana goes to Russia sometimes. She does little bits of CGI. It's no big deal. She's very good at it, clearly. I worked on Flash movie, can you tell? Kidnapping, fair enough. Yeah, I heard about that charge, and then like nothing ever came of it, and that was super weird. That's actually a fair point. So anyway, back to the CGI Batman cape. Yes, terrible. And then the CGI on the babies. Not only that, this was look, the microwave wasn't on, but they did put a baby in a microwave. And to me, I was like, all right, sure, I guess. Like it wasn't plugged in or anything. He took a burrito out of it and he took a bite, but just the whole CGI baby scene was so bad. It was so awful. Just don't even do it. If that's what, just don't even do it. Don't attempt it. It was bad. It was bad. So that was one of the biggest things. I could have maybe enjoyed the movie a little bit more. The CGI took me out of it so hardcore. So yeah, oh God, yeah. Did he choke slam a pregnant lady? Jeez, I've forgotten all of the things that Ezra Miller did. Jesus, he is truly a disaster. God, yeah. How is this guy still in the movie? I understand that they could have done a Batgirl on it though, and been like, I feel like this is almost Batgirl level of treatment. Where look, again, I laughed, and I do think he's good, but he's a disaster. Oh, God. Heavens Devils. They put a baby in a microwave in the new Flash movie. The microwave wasn't on, but still. Backhand said, Ozia, the director, came out and said the CGI looked like that because it was a design choice. What? Okay, he has got to be covering for the fact that they cheaped out hardcore.
That was a design choice for Batman?
No, come on. There's no way. There's no way. Deadpool. Yeah, this movie's going to flop. I agree. I think this movie's going to flop. It's just not very good.
I don't know. The Michael Keaton thing might get people going.
Nick thinks that the Michael Keaton thing might get people going. Mo, I know I'm not going to be able to say your name properly, and I'm so sorry. Mo Sizlak. Did I say that right? Sizlak? Thank you so much for the super chat. You are so awesome. Oh, I really appreciate you. He said at least Ezra Miller won those fights. Yeah, because they were all against women. Did he get into any fights with men is my question. It seems like he was punching women left, right, and center. Oh, my God.
The Simpsons, the bartender.
Oh, Mo Sizlak, it is. Oh, that's right, The Simpsons. I'm so sorry. I have not watched a lot of The Simpsons. Mo's like, give me my super chat back. Thank you very much for the super chat. You are awesome. Yeah, if that's a style choice, they're idiots. But there's absolutely no way. They're like, we want to make it look like a video game, but worse. Yeah, Ezra Miller looked terrible when he ran. Again, there were some moments that legitimately made me belly laugh. One spoiler that I had already known going into this, I don't know if it was just a rumor that people were talking about, or if it was teased, or if it was leaked, because I was trying to go into this without looking up as much as I could, but being on the internet, you sort of find things out. One thing that I found out is we were going to get, oh my God, my brain is like not remembering words or names today. It's really particularly bad. Nick, help me out here. Nicolas Cage. We got that we were going to get a Nicolas Cage Superman, and we did. And we did. We got a Nicolas Cage Superman. I don't know if it was, and this is something I probably should have looked up, if this was footage from the actual screen test that they did. It was straight CGI, right? They just took it and it was straight CGI. Because there was that screen test. So we actually got to see Nicolas Cage as Superman. And I am going to be honest with you, I'm really glad it's something that we never got. I would like to see all of the footage of what we do have. Yeah, I would say wait until it comes out on Max. Because it's you like the Cage part, Reese? It was interesting. He's not Superman. I'm sorry. I know some people are like, yeah, just for me, that's just a no. But it was a cool moment because this is something that we've all known about and have been hearing about for years and years and years. So this was like, oh my God, this is really neat. We also got to see, they essentially did the same thing that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse had done, where they were showing all of the moments from all of the different Batman's, Flash's, and Superman's from the sort of the beginning of the filming of it all. So there was a Christopher Reeves Batman and Supergirl. Who played Supergirl with Christopher Reeves? Because I'm not familiar with her. Superman. Christopher Reeves Superman. My brain's all jumbled.
Yeah, I don't know who the Supergirl is.
I don't know who that Supergirl is either. However, Cage's bizarro Superman would be very interesting. I actually agree with you on that. That would have been fun. He was a barely good Ghost Rider. People expect him to be a good Superman. Excellent point. Yeah, Reese, that's kind of my point with this movie is I belly laughed for real legitimate moments. It had potential. I think it could have been a good movie. There's just some really bad casting choices, some terrible CGI, and just kind of a lackluster story overall. Helen Slater, thank you, Heavens Devils. Just sort of a weak storyline overall, but again, if you're familiar with the Flash character, it's all stuff that you kind of already know. So you're not really surprised with anything going into it. It's worth watching. I would definitely watch it on Max. If you want to go see it in the theater for sure. But beware that the CGI is terrible and it's not a great movie. It's not a great movie. It's a fun movie. Basically what Reese said. It is a fun movie. Backhand says he thinks he preferred Black Adam to this movie. At least the CGI was good in that movie.
I think I like this movie better.
Nick said he thinks he likes this movie better. And you know what's funny? I actually did enjoy this more than Black Adam as well. But the CGI was miles better in Black Adam. Miles better. Oh, God. I don't know. Mindless self-indulgence, that's my question. I think that, I legitimately do think that DC needs an entire reboot. I know some people are against it. I know a lot of people crap all over James Gunn, especially because he's recasting Henry Cavill as Superman, which I understand why people are upset. Henry Cavill is a phenomenal Superman. I also understand why James Gunn is doing it if he's starting off younger and Henry Cavill is too old. So, Nick is bringing up the Blue Beetle movie, which is also coming out. I will review Blue Beetle as well. It looks god awful. It looks so bad. I'm going to watch it. It looks awful. So, yeah. Daniel, that's a great point. He said, let's take a moment to remember Henry Cavill got released and Ezra didn't because WB saw something in this movie. Look, again, it's enjoyable, it's fun, but it's not great.
There's the Blue Beetle. Looks like he's from Power Rangers.
There's the Blue Beetle. Nick brought this up. He said it looks like he's a villain from the Power Rangers. And not a Power Rangers movie, the Power Rangers TV show. Deadpool, yes. Henry Cavill is fantastic. Look, I never really had a thing for Henry Cavill, and I kind of still don't. I mean, he's obviously a very handsome man. Like, come on, let's be real here. He's insanely attractive. But it wasn't until I saw him as Geralt where I was like, excuse me, I need to fan myself off here. It's something about that character and the way he plays him is just phenomenal. And he does a really, really great job. But I do understand why he's recasting the role. And I am excited to see what James Gunn does with the DC universe because James Gunn makes good movies. I know a lot of people don't like him. I personally think he does a great job. He does a lot of good stuff. I also understand why people get pissed off when anyone deviates from sort of the source material really too far. And so that's a valid criticism as well. But Mo, thank you so much for another super chat. Oh my God, you're amazing. He says, rumor has it we see a lot of Ezra Miller's butt cheeks. True. Was that a rumor?
Well, I mean, he's just joking around. He's naked a lot.
He is naked in a lot of the movie. I was like, was that a rumor that you see his butt cheeks a lot? I was like, do I remember? Yes, there's a lot of naked Ezra Miller, which it doesn't look bad naked. It's not terrible. But yeah, he loses his clothes a bit for there a lot in the movie. There's a point where he's just running around naked quite a bit. Blue Beetle was a main plot point in season 2 of Young Justice, and he doesn't have a terrible backstory.
The trailer we watched at this movie, and it looks horrible.
Yeah, as Nick points out, the trailer that we watched of this movie does look really bad. Look, maybe they'll pull something out of their butt. A Blue Beetle will pull something out of their butt that will make it look really good, or it'll be good. Because you can have a good backstory. You can have a good backstory, but it doesn't mean that the movie is going to end up being good. So, and that always sucks when they don't do justice to a character that actually could be fun and could be decent, and they just wreck it. It looks terrible. Deadpool, you know what's funny? Henry Cavill actually does have crooked bottom teeth. It is a thing that I have noticed, and I was like, hello. I'm very into it. I like the slightly crooked bottom teeth. I don't mind straight top teeth and that. Not all the teeth have to be crooked, but if there's a little crooked somewhere, yeah. Batman is a fascist. Blue Beetle 2023. We'll see. It's worth seeing. Salty Doghouse, thank you so much for the super chat. You're so awesome. I really appreciate. Oh my God, I appreciate you guys supporting my stream so much. You have no idea how much it means to me. I can't hear you, but you sure are nice to watch. Ha, no weird chat. Sorry. Wait, what? Thank you, Salty Doghouse. Either way, I don't know if you can hear me, but thank you so much for the super chat. And his backhand says, yeah, the CGI for Blue Beetle looks horrible and cheap also. You can't cheap out on CGI for a movie that's so heavily dependent on CGI. I just don't understand. Hi, Healer. So, yeah. Look, again, I had a good time. I laughed a lot. There were moments that I really enjoyed. It could have been a great movie had they just done better CGI and had they just done some better casting. Again, I really hope that girl doesn't stay Iris West. I hope that if we get more of the Flash, if we get more of the stories. Oh, also, here's another big spoiler for you guys, just so you know. Big spoiler. Ooh, listening to music. Slayer. Just so you know, Ben Affleck is Batman. He gets replaced in the end. Barry Allen thinks that he goes back and fixes the original timeline, but we end up with a George Clooney Batman. I don't know if that is going to go anywhere, if that means anything, if we're going to see a George Clooney Batman. I don't know about any of that. Also, by the way, Michael Keaton looked fucking great. I think he must have gotten a facelift of some kind, but they did a really good job on his facelift, or he got something going on because he looks great. He was killing it. As like an older, I mean, he's obviously older, but he looks phenomenal. So yeah. So I think it's probably them cramming too much CGI, so they have to cheap on it when it counts. You can't though. You just can't. Go see it though. Go watch it because it's fun. I do think you'll have a good time, and you can leave being like, wow, that was a hot mess, but I laughed and I enjoyed myself. And it really sucks that Ezra Miller is such a cuckoo crazy nut job that goes around choke slamming pregnant women and beating couples up in my hometown. That man traveled to my home island and was beating people up. because he is actually talented and he's good in this movie. So it's unfortunate that he sucks as a person. So that's a real bummer. Yeah. Again, worth seeing. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me for this review. I'm sorry it's not Sexy Sisters. We will be back next week. We'll also be back on Sunday for the snack stream at 8 p.m. Eastern. So be on my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/XiaLand, XiaLand. If you guys have just stumbled upon this channel and you like it, please hit the subscribe button. Leave your notifications on so you know that when I go live or when I put up a new video, because I do these reviews definitely a lot more often. I'm doing movie reviews. I do Sexy Sisters. We're bringing unqualified experts back. I have a logo that is finished. I will be getting it very shortly. So that's going to be really fun. It definitely helps. Leave a comment too, because that helps a ton getting this stuff out there. It helps me out a lot. Thank you to everybody who super chatted. I very, very, very much appreciate that because it helps me keep the lights on for real. Pay electricity bills with that and whatnot. So do appreciate you guys. I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye. Oh, one more from Mo. Mo, thank you so much for the super chat. Look at that. A last minute super chat before the stream ends. My whole heart. Wait, was Clooney rocking the bat suit with the nipples? No, he wasn't in the bat suit. He was Bruce Wayne. So he just gets out of the car in his fancy suit with his sunglasses on. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm Bruce Wayne, essentially. But goodness gracious, the nipples. I forgot about the nipples. Oh boy, those are I want to go back and rewatch some of those Batman movies. Nick's shaking his head. Why not? You don't want to watch Freeze. Chill out. I do. Thank you so much for the last minute super chat. I love you guys. Good night. Bye.